Gravando, vamos começar. Hi there, welcome back to the channel. My name is Fred Macedo and I'm here with my friends Carla, Rosângela, Ruben, Roseli for another Gospel at Home. Before we start, I'm gonna ask Rosângela to do our initial prayer. Please, Rosângela.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen.
Thank you, Rosângela. Now I'm gonna share my screen. We're gonna read the Book of Spirits, Considerations Concerning the Plurality of Existences. Question 222. Some persons have stated that the doctrine of the reincarnation is not new. That is what's taken from Pythagoras. We have never said that Spiritist doctrine is a modern invention. Since Spiritism stems from the very laws of nature, it's obvious that it must have existed since the beginning of time, and we have always sought to show that traces of it may be found in remotest antiquity. It is well known that Pythagoras was not the creator of the theory of metempsychosis. He took it from Hindu philosophers and Egyptians who had believed in it from time immemorial. The idea of the transmigration of souls was therefore a common belief accepted by the most eminent individuals. By what road did this idea come to them? Was it by revelation or intuition? We do not know. Whatever the case may be, an idea could not have traversed the ages and have been accepted by the most advanced minds if they were not something to it. The ancientness of this doctrine should therefore be, if anything, a proof in its favor rather than an objection against it. However, it is equally known that between the metempsychosis of the ancients and the modern doctrine of reincarnation, there is one main difference. The spirits absolutely reject the transmigration of human souls into animals and vice versa. In the teaching, the doctrine of the plurality of corporeal existence, the spirits have thus renewed a doctrine that was born during the earliest ages of the world, and which has been preserved up to our time in the inmost thought of many persons. However, the spirits have presented it from a more rational point of view, more according to the progressive laws of nature, and more in harmony with the wisdom of the Creator by divesting it of all the accoutrements of superstition. A point worth noting is that it's not only in the book that they have taught it recently. Even before it was published, numerous communications of the same nature had been received in many regions, and they have multiplied considerably since then. Moreover, it might be pertinent to examine why it is that not all the spirits seem to be in agreement regarding this doctrine. We shall revisit the issue later. But for now, let us examine the issue at hand from another angle. Apart from any revelations by the spirits, we shall put them aside for the moment and assume that this theory did not come from them at all. Let us even assume that we have never even pondered together with the spirits. Let us instead place ourselves in a neutral position from the time being and accept the same degree of likelihood of truth for both the hypothesis of the plurality of corporeal existence and that of a single existence. Let us see toward which side reason and our own interests will take us. Some individuals reject the idea of reincarnation for the simple reason that is inconvenient to them. They declare that one existence is quite enough and that they have no desire to recommence a similar one. We even know persons who become infuriated at the mere thought of returning to earth. We would ask them whether God ought to ask for their advice and consult their wishes in setting the universe in order. One of two possibilities apply. Either reincarnation is a fact or it is not. If it is useless for these individuals to oppose it. They will have to undergo it without God asking for their permission. Opposing it would be the same as deceived men say, I have already suffered too much today. I don't want to suffer any more tomorrow. No matter how unwilling he may be, he will not suffer any less tomorrow or in the days that follow until he is cured. Likewise, if those individuals must live again corporally, they will do so. They will reincarnate. They will protest in vain like a child who does not want to go to school, or a criminal condemned to prison, because they will have to reincarnate nevertheless. Objections of this type are too childish to deserve a more serious examination. However, in order to reassure such persons, we will state that Spiritist doctrine of reincarnation is not as terrible as they might think, and that if they were to study it in depth, they would realize that they have nothing to fear. They would understand that each new existence depends on themselves. It will be happy or unhappy according to what they are doing in the present one. That for this life onwards. If they improve themselves to a certain degree, they will never have to fear falling back into the swamp. We will presume that we are addressing persons who believe in some kind of future after that, rather than those who believe that only nothingness awaits them, or those who wish to immerse their soul into the universal whole without preserving their individuality, like drops of rain falling into the ocean, which is pretty much the same thing. If you believe in any kind of future at all, you certainly do not suppose that it will be the same for all, because that would imply that doing good during one's life would not matter in the end. In one words, why restrain ourselves? Why not satisfy all our passions, all our desires, even at the expense of others. If our future will be neither better nor worse for it. If, on the other hand, if you believe that the future will be happier or less happy according to what one does in life, would you desire to make it happy as possible because it will have implications for all eternity? Do you by any chance fancy yourself as being one of the most perfect creatures who has never walked the earth and thus have an immediate right to the bliss of the elect? I would not think so. Thus, without you having to consider yourself among the reprobate, you must admit that there are those who deserve and have a right to a better situations, more than you do. Well then, mentally place yourself for a moment in the middle position, which, as you admit, you occupy at the moment, and imagine that someone says to you, "Oh, you suffer. You are not as happy as you could be." Whereas there are others all around you who seem to enjoy perfect happiness. Would you like to trade your situation for theirs? Of course I would, you reply. But what do I have to do? Almost nothing. Simply start over what you have done badly and try to do it better. Would you hesitate to accept this proposition, even if it costs you many lifetimes of trial? Let us make a prosaic comparison. Suppose you were to say to a man who, although not in extreme poverty, is going through hard times due to his precarious resources, there is a huge fortune for you to enjoy. However, you must work hard for it for exactly 1 minute. If he were the laziest being on earth, he would not hesitate to say, "I'm willing to work for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 1 hour, a whole day if necessary. What difference would that make if my life will end up in abundance?" Well, then, what is the duration of one corporeal life when compared to eternity? Less than a minute, less than a second. We sometimes hear this sort of reasoning. God, who is supremely good, would not impose on us the obligation to recommence another series of misfortunes and tribulations. Do they by any chance believe that God would show more kindness in condemning people to eternal suffering because a few moments of error than is granting them the means to repair their wrongs? Two manufacturers each had a worker who aspired to partnership, but one but on one particular workday, both workers were unproductive, and deserved to be fired. One of the manufacturers actually fired his worker despite his pleas. And since he was unable to obtain other employment, he died in poverty. The other, however, said to his worker, "You have wasted a whole day, so you owe me compensation. You have performed badly, so you owe me reparation. However, I will let you start over tomorrow. If you perform well, I will keep you, and you will be able to continue aspiring to the higher position I promised you." It is necessary to ask which of these two manufacturers were more humane. So would God, who is clemency itself, be more inflexible than a human? There is something poignant in the idea that our fate is sealed forever because of a few years of trial, even considering the fact that reaching perfection perfection did not depend on us while on earth, whereas the opposite idea is eminently consoling. It gives us hope. Therefore, without deciding either for or against the plurality of existence, and without favoring one hypothesis over the other, we will simply state that if the choice could be made, no one would choose a sentence that could not be appealed. A philosopher once said that if God did not exist, it would be necessary to invent one for the containment of humankind. The same could be said of the plurality of existences. As we stated previously, God does not ask for our permission, nor does God consult our preference. Things either are or they are not. Based on such consideration, let us see on which side the odds might lie. I'm gonna stop here and let's try to make some comments about this part we just read. Um, Reincarnation is one of the pillars of Spiritism because there there can be no justice without reincarnation. Um, if we all live here on earth and we have just one existence, just one life, as a lot of religions uh, say we do. Why? If I'm poor, I'm I live in Somalia, in Africa. I even don't know how to read. I don't have food. I don't have clean water. I don't have shelter. And my brother that was born in Switzerland have plenty of food, plenty of everything, education, everything that one can dream. My brother have. How do I explain to this poor soul of Africa that we are born equally if we have just one existence? And other thing, if I have just one existence and I have to make it right, why there are other people who have facilidades, who are who get things easier for make things happen, and even there are people who has everything and make it wrong. Why is that? And I heard this question lots of time from people from other religion. Oh, uh, this friend of ours was so good. He couldn't hurt a fly, an ant in the ground. Why he has cancer? Why he's suffering a lot? Why he lost his parents in an accident? Why life seems to step on him, to hurt him a lot? And why myself, I don't have any real problems that hurt my soul. I have life comes at easy for me. I have everything I need. I don't have the superfluous things I would want to. I don't have power. I'm not as handsome as I wanted to be. I'm not as famous as I wanted to be. I'm not as rich as I wanted to be, but I have everything I need. And a lot of people doesn't have the essential to live. Why is that? You see, without the plurality of existence, because we have just one life, is the spiritual life. And we have a lot of existence, our incarnations, because we study up there, but we prove here by error, by falling, by um, everything we do wrong, because this is our trials. Life is a continued trial. We lose, we lose a lot of things. We lose people, we lose opportunities. Doesn't matter. If we see life, the if we see this existence as a trial, as something that is not is not in perpetual, this life will pass, and we will have others. So if I see this life in this way, I'm inclined to don't don't give such a value of the things that happen to me, because I know God's love me, and I'm experienced in life exactly what I need to progress, to make to the next gap. That's why incarnation, the plurality of existence, is essential for God's justice. Because if we are not rich today, we're gonna be in some life, in some existence ahead. If we do not possess power in this life, we will have an opportunity to prove it. And it took me a long time to see this. I was running about 12 years ago for a judge position, and I was so near of getting it. And um, I was throwing the ball, and the ball didn't go for the net, for the goal. I couldn't score, and I learned a time some time ago that it was the best thing that happened to me. If maybe, definitely, if I was a judge, I would have it would be have been wrong, because I have the like not a vision, but I saw myself being a judge, like one life, one existence ago or two existences ago. I saw myself in a beautiful carved table, and I know it was myself, and I saw someone giving me money to be favored in one of my sentences. So maybe I I wouldn't be corrupt as I did, but it's a position that you can compromise yourself. You can You can do a lot of things that will hurt a lot of people very fast. So I thank God because I'm in the right place, in the right time, with the right family, with the right line of work. And that's what we have to ask ourselves, that we can be happy even if we are not where we wanted to be. We have just to accept and go along and move forward. One more day, one more opportunity. And one thing that I learned from the Spiritist doctrine that makes everything easier. When I started uh, this work, uh, I, I I received like 4 a.m. I heard you're gonna make these gospels and you're gonna publish in YouTube. I asked the voice, YouTube? I don't have any experience. Huh? You will, and you will see. And then okay, I start doing it, editing the videos, posting on YouTube. Okay, but when they said to me that I would have to make it in English, I say, oh, the spirituality has lost it. They're crazy. But here we are. We have to give an opportunity for ourselves and ask God, God, please point me in the right direction, um, and accept what the responsibilities that uh, he's throwing at us, because if we can make it work, and we have to do it. That's why we are here. If I can do this, anyone can. Comments, Carla, would you like to make a comment? You don't have to open your image if you don't want to.
Hello. I totally agree with you have explained, and I think we have to listen to our friends here.
Thank you, Carla. It's nice to have someone else that can speak to me. My dear friends are always with me, and I'm very grateful, thankful for that. And as we recognize that we are we have been blessed for this great doctrine that explains why we suffer, I'd like to make a prayer for all those who doesn't know this great doctrine, for all the ones that suffer, being disincarnated, who have committed suicide, and all the others incarnated that are in poverty, that are in wars, that are suffering a lot. Let's ask Jesus to embrace them, to make them stronger, because when we know that we are not alone, and we are not alone, not one day in our lives, we feel this presence that inspires us doing great things. Let's ask Jesus to infuse us with this energy to make more, to live up to our potential, because we are not supposed to do great things, but we are supposed to do our part, and this is our part. And I invite each of you, and even those are our 11 subscribers, 12 subscribers, to do good in this world, to make the change that they want in this world in themselves. I'll thank you all for the patience of hearing me. And I'm going to ask Rosangela for our final prayer. Thank you all.
We thank the good spirits who have come to communicate with us and ask them to help us put into practice the instruction they have given us. We also hope they will ensure that each one of us, as at the end of this session, is fortified in the practice of good and love for our neighbor. We also wish these lessons may be useful for the suffering, ignorance, or vicious spirits who were able to attend this meeting and for whom we implore the mercy of God. God bless our
Good night, everyone.
Good night, my friends. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.